Imagine a world where the push for affordable housing leads to even fewer homes, crumbling buildings, and people stuck in place without options. Sound like a nightmare? That's the harsh reality of rent control policies that cities keep trying, despite overwhelming evidence of their failures. And this is the part most people miss. Even as public anxiety about housing costs rises, these seemingly straightforward fixes often make things worse for everyone involved. But here's where it gets controversial. Could rent control ever be a short-term lifeline, or is it doomed to backfire? Let's dive into why St. Paul and now Los Angeles are just the latest examples of this repeating mistake, and unpack the economics behind it all in a way that's easy to grasp, even if you're new to the topic. You see, rent control sounds appealing at first blush. It's a policy that limits how much landlords can charge for rent, aiming to protect tenants from skyrocketing costs. For beginners, think of it like price caps at the grocery store. The government steps in to keep prices from going too high, right? But in practice, it's more like trying to freeze water in the middle of a heatwave. Natural forces push back. Experts have long warned that these caps disrupt the housing market, leading to unintended consequences that hurt renters more than help them. Take St. Paul, for instance, where rent controls were implemented with hopes of easing affordability woes. Instead, they resulted in a noticeable drop in new housing construction, as developers found it less profitable to build amid price restrictions. This scarcity drove up demand for the limited existing homes, ironically pushing up rents in uncontrolled areas and leaving many tenants scrambling anyway. Now, fast forward to Los Angeles, where similar proposals are gaining traction as the cost of living crisis bites harder. Proponents argue it's a quick fix for vulnerable families facing eviction or homelessness. But critics point out that the evidence from St. Paul, and countless other cities like New York and San Francisco, shows a consistent pattern. Less overall housing supply means more competition, higher wait lists, and often, neglected maintenance. Landlords, faced with capped incomes, might defer repairs on properties, turning cozy apartments into hazardous spaces over time. And don't forget mobility, that freedom to move to a better job or neighborhood. Rent controls can erode that by discouraging landlords from renting out units, trapping people in suboptimal situations. But here's where it gets really intriguing. Some economists suggest that while long-term rent controls fail, they could provide temporary relief during housing spikes, like during economic downturns. Is this a valid compromise, or just a band-aid on a gaping wound? The core issue, as history shows, is that these policies discourage investment in housing, leading to a vicious cycle of shortages. Cities and states keep experimenting with them, perhaps because they feel politically expedient, but fresh examples aren't necessary when the outcomes are so predictable. Yet, the debate rages on. Do we prioritize short-term affordability at the expense of long-term solutions like building more homes or easing zoning laws? What do you think? Have you seen rent controls work in your area, or do they seem like a well-intentioned but flawed idea? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree that cities should abandon this approach, or is there a way to tweak it for success? Let's discuss.